What's the difference?
That's what I was talking to Leslie about. Celebrities in the world. That's what one of them called me. You're famous. It's not that you're not a celebrity, but it's not like you're sticking your pinky toe out on the red carpet. You're not going to play the music. What are you wearing?
Right.
You didn't make your life about that. You're not right. There's a courageousness that you have to, you're subject to so much outside scrutiny, but you do it anyway. That's why it's courageous, you're willing to see yourself. This is a practice. This takes some consistency. You have to choose. You have to take an inventory, who you actually are. Some people think they're the famous guy. Fame is your circumstances. It's not necessarily who you are. Trust me, when I left the show, I wasn't famous. It was circumstances. I was famous, but it wasn't that famous.
Right.
It's different. And I realized, when we came up, we coveted that.
Well, because it seemed unattainable. You'd see other people that had it. Someone would show up at the club and walk through. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Everybody
all right.
Is.
Right, but it was still an abstraction.
Right.
Martin walks in and he's brimming with happiness.
Right. Martin walked in. Martin was the first guy that I ever saw that walked in with security.
Hilarious.
I was like, wow, he's got security at the store.
And needed it.
Oh, yeah. People forgot how fucking strong Martin Lawrence was. God damn, his act was powerful. I used to have to follow him. Mitzi Shore was hilarious. She used to always, she thought you were funny, she would put you on after the best comedians and just throw you right to the wolves. She always thought it was funny. She would always put me on after I was, 27, 26 years old. She would put me on after Martin Lawrence all the time.
But that's how you get great. I remember the first time I met Martin, I was in high school.
Wow.
I saw Martin do a show. Him and Tommy Davis might be one of the best single comedy shows I've ever seen. It was like a local DC club. Marlon Wayans was there. He was going to college in DC at the time. It was the night of that. And then, first of all, Tommy Davidson went on. This motherfucker Tommy can crack. He's a funny guy. Great performer, great impressionist. Every skill set that you could think of, he has in abundance. And Martin was headlining. I watched Tommy's show, and I was worried for the headliner. When does that ever happen? Martin was fine. Like the shit he did on that stage, and this was like in the area that he grew up in, so he had that set. There's probably a couple of girls in high school that dissed him that was there and that kind of shit. He did the thing, bro. And I'm telling you, Martin Lawrence was a beast.
People forgot for some reason.
Shit, I'm from DC, so I can't forget that. When I was starting out, he was a local legend already.
Well, when I first came to LA, it was in 94, he was at his peak.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was, he was so crazy.
Yeah, that was an Elvis show. He was hosting Def Jam.
Yeah.
He had the sitcom.
Yeah.
He was putting out specials and just started digging that movie game.
And when you watch a sitcom, people forget, like, he did a bunch of different characters on that show. Like, it was all him. The show was all him.
Yes, he was nice. He's probably still nice. But I mean, I haven't seen Martin in a long time.
I haven't seen him forever. I ran into him at the store like a few years back. Which is briefly. He was doing a few sets every now and then.
He called me after one of the Mark Twain parties. If because I'm from DC, I got to tell you this call. It means a lot. Yeah. One.
Este lugar es muy popular.
Esta bicicleta está vieja. Esta bicicleta está vieja.
Esta clase no es muy popular. Es tan interesante.
Qué interesante es este pueblo.
That's a tough one. This interesting is so interesting is this town. Denver's so interesting. So many fucking hot girls all over the goddamn place.
Este sombrero es tan bonito. El español es un idioma muy popular.
Qué elegante es tu dormitorio. Qué elegante es tu dormitorio. En tu dormitorio.
Oh, look at this your bedroom is so elegant.
Qué interesante es este idioma.
Qué interesante es este idioma. Is it okay. nothing about learning another language that's fun. I had lofty goals. I was going to just do the shit out of Spanish and then learn other languages. I think by the time I'm 50, I might be semi-fluent in Spanish. Yes, double.
Earn free crypto just by learning about it. Coinbase Earn is the fast, easy, and rewarding way to learn about cryptocurrencies like Compound, Stellar Lumens, EOS, and more. Simply watch short videos, answer simple questions about what you've seen, and get rewarded.
That's retarded. Yeah, I'm gonna need every gem I can get because I'm slowly descending. See some of this fucking
my videos, we talk about current events, we analyze companies, we do a lot of different interesting stuff. But in this video, I want to focus on teaching you a skill, which I think you should master. Now, when you want to play in the stock market, you got to be able to evaluate and value companies. And there's countless ways to do it. You could do discounted cash flow valuations, DCFs, which I personally love. There's a lot of quant ways to do it. There's a lot of technical trading. However, in this video, I want to teach you a quick hack. How to get an initial understanding into the true valuation of the company within something that takes 5 to 10 minutes. Valuation of a company, but it should give you an idea of whether the company is overpriced or underpriced based on some simple and yet objective and trustworthy parameters based on publicly available data with a simple Excel spreadsheet, which I'm going to make available for everybody, not just the patrons, not just the channel members. Everybody can go and download it. I'm going to put the link in the description. It's a very, very simple tool. Now, in this video, I'm going to be using Amazon, which is a company you all know, and you all know their numbers. It's a huge company. So I'm going to be showing you what I think the Amazon valuation would be based on this technique. Now, this can apply to a huge amount of companies, starting from small cap, big cap, mid cap, doesn't matter. So I'm going to use Amazon just because it's a household name. And as always, a quick disclaimer. Don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't subscribe, don't buy nothing. Just give me your attention for the next 5 minutes because I am about to teach you an important skill which is going to make you money. So listen up and just stay with me for 5 minutes, and trust me, this is going to help you. So step number 1 is opening up with Excel and creating this very simple table. As you can see right here, the most complicated thing about this table was to add this logo, which I struggled with for 25 minutes. Whatever. All you need to do is create the EBITDA flows for year 1 through 5. Now, below, you create this EBITDA multiple number and this terminal value and the present value of terminal value. I'm going to explain in a second how to do it, but again, you're going to have access to this template anytime, so you can just grab mine. So as you can see here, the first thing we need to know is the EBITDA numbers for Amazon for the next 5 years. So for that, we're going to go to Seeking Alpha because they're doing a really good job, in my opinion, of aggregating these numbers. So if you go to Seeking Alpha, by the way, I'm not affiliated. There's no affiliate link. I just use them because it's convenient. Okay, so if I scroll down to EBITDA right here, I can see that the EBITDA for this trailing 12 months was $57 billion. Okay, so let's use 57 billion for year 1. If you see 57 million, I didn't have a brain aneurysm. What happened here is essentially these are in thousands. It's more convenient for me to do it in thousands, so I'm not confused. But this is just, you can do your own thing. So as you can see, the EBITDA is growing every year at about 10%, I believe, but this is just a template. We gotta ascertain, then this is essentially step 2, what is the EBITDA growth rate for Amazon for the next 5 years? For that, we also gotta go to Seeking Alpha because they actually aggregate the Wall Street consensus. If you go to growth, you'll see that they've done the work for you. By the way, you're welcome to do it yourself. You can look it up and you can look up the Wall Street consensus, it's not a problem. But you can see right here, EBITDA growth forward, which pretty much is an aggregate of Wall Street consensus. And as you can see right here, it's 30%. So we know that the 30% talks about EBITDA growth specifically for the future. So let's do that. Let's do 30% right here. And let's just assume, just for the caution's sake, because I like to be cautious of these, that the rate is going to decline year over year because for whatever reason, Amazon is not going to be doing so well. Just to be cautious. So right here, we're going to do 25%, then 20%, then we're going to do 15%. Boom. Okay, we got it. By the way, this is not a mistake. We just got to expand this a little bit right here. Okay, so what we did here, essentially, we applied a 30% growth for this year, and then we declined every year by 5%, all the way to 15% growth in 2025. Just to be careful. Now, as you can see right here, what you will get is the 2026 EBITDA will be $140 billion. So how do we go from the $140 billion the company will or is expected to generate in 2026 to the actual valuation? Well, we need this little calculation right here. So you can use whatever multiple you want for this, but essentially this is called the EBITDA multiple valuation system. We're going to use a number, multiply year 5 EBITDA, and bring it back to today to find out what's the real valuation of the company is. And for this purpose, you have to understand that every industry has different EBITDA multiples. And you don't have to actually research that deep. There's a website that actually gives you that. It's called equidan.com. Again, not affiliated, don't have any affiliate links. Research it yourself, but essentially they aggregate the numbers quite nicely. And as you can see right here, tech is 24.81. That's the EBITDA multiple for tech. And obviously Amazon is tech, so we're going to use that. The link for that is also going to be in the description, so you guys can use it and not research every single industry. So let's do 24.8 for the multiple. So now we got $3.4 trillion, rather $3.5 trillion. Is that the valuation of the company today? No. We got to bring this money to today because this is $2026. Now, for that purpose, we got to use a certain amount that's called the discount rate. And the way it works is quite simple. Let me just give you an example. Let's say that you have a settlement. Somebody owes you $1 million in 5 years. If you want to cash out today, you're going to take less money because you can take that money, put it in the bank, get interest on that, and get a higher amount within 5 years. So whatever number you're getting today should match $1 million in 5 years based on bank interest, just to keep it simple. So the discount rate, the higher it goes, the less money I get today for the future value of a certain amount of money. And now that you know what discount rate means, I'm going to unhide this row right here. I'm using 10% because I think 10% is extremely conservative. Given that we have a near 0% interest rate in the market right now, you can use 8 and 6. You'll still be over the line of conservatism. But I like to use extra careful, very high discount rate to bring down the valuation to the lowest possible point, so I can have that cushion that if I'm wrong, I have that extra safety cushion. So I use 10% in this market. So as you can see right here, you can take a look at the formula and get scared, but don't. Now what we have is I-36, which is this number in here, the $3.5 trillion that we have in 2026. And now all you got to do is just divide that number in the percentage of discount in the power of the amount of years that you have to bring this back. In this case, 2026 minus 2021, which gives you exactly 5. That's the whole thing. It's too complicated for you. You can just use this spreadsheet, which I'm going to give to you. And as you can see here, the bottom result is $2 trillion, $165 billion. If you compare this to the current valuation of Amazon, if you go back here, so you can go to Amazon and you can go to summary, and you see the market cap right here. So the market cap right here is $1.66 trillion. So as you can see right here, based on our estimates, we got $166 trillion currently, the current market cap, versus 2.965, which is the future market cap. So just based on this very simple method, in 10 minutes, and with me explaining, if I wasn't explaining, probably would have taken 3 minutes, we now can see, hey, Amazon might be undervalued. Let's look deeper into this. Let's run some DCFs. Let's analyze the margins. Let's analyze the business. Let's see what's going on. But as a screening mechanism, this thing is extremely effective to weed out the good companies from the bad companies, in my opinion. And again, I might be wrong. This might be inaccurate. This might be the ramblings of a madman. You gotta do the research for yourself. And there you have it. As simple as that. Unlike what the suits on Wall Street want you to think, this isn't rocket science. It's not that complicated. All you need to do is master a few basic skills, and you can do it as good as these guys. Now, this is just my opinion, so you can do your research, because I might be wrong. Might be inaccurate. This might be ramblings of a madman. You gotta be able to do the research for yourself, allegedly, blah, 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 different, blah. So using this tool is gonna help you execute on my mantra. So I'm happy. Now, as always, a huge shout out to the channel members, the patrons, everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you so much. If you have any questions on how to use this, or you just generally don't like me,
Make sure you do, it's really good. Also, I'm pretty sure you can use Open Office for his Excel spreadsheet.
one thing that comedy always needs you need to be around other great comics.
It's true. Circuit.
Yeah.
And back in those days, internet, nothing. Every city has some different energy. Comedians there. It's always exciting to go to the city and check out the other acts.
Yeah.
Boston, like you say, that was one of those cities.
It was a weird city.
It was.
But it was a trap. That's what we were talking about before. Those guys can make 6 figures, stay in town. But that's what they did. Because if they went on the road, they'd actually make less money.
What made you go to Hollywood? Why didn't you focus?
I saw what they were doing. Even though they were great comedians, I saw that they couldn't do the road. I was like, if you want to get on HBO or if you want to do a special, you got to get out of town. And the young guys coming up kind of saw the old guard. These some of the best headliners I've ever seen in my life. I've seen Don Gavin have sets, Steve Sweeney have sets. I would put those sets up against any comic I've ever seen ever.
You know, it's funny. The first night I saw Dane Cook, they go on after so it was kind of worried about this shit. But I heard the crowd scream so loud, I thought they introduced me.
Wow.
It was Dane. He just started in. These were pretty this guy. It was a thing in Boston. Everyone was a room ripper. Like they were all about volume.
Intensity.
Yeah, Don Gavin, that rapid fine style, I'll never forget. And then, in the midst of all that, you have the counterweight like Steve Martin. This wonderfully understated deadpan comedian. That shit was fine. Boston was a good circuit.
Have you ever seen the documentary when Stand Up Stood Out?
No.
There's a comic named Francis Alameda that put together this documentary on Boston. It's really good. It just shows you what it was like back in those days. Like, they kind of invented a movement. It was really, a lot of it was Barry Crimmins. Rest in peace.
Who's Barry Crimmins?
Barry Crimmins was like the godfather of Boston comedy in a lot of ways because he was this really brilliant guy, very politically savvy, and he kept everybody from being a hack because everybody was scared of him. Like, he was like this fucking loud, bold guy who would go on stage and he had a jacket on, a little Budweiser on the inside pocket of his jacket and set it on the table. He had like these things he would do, but he was a great comic.
What you're thinking, here we go again, another useless health scam. While mouth taping your mouth shut while you sleep might seem like your typical weird wellness trend, it's actually grounded in serious science. And the good news is, for us mouth breathers, the solution to a better night's sleep and a myriad of health benefits. Maybe as simple and cost-effective as a roll of surgical tape from CVS. I love sleep. For as long as I can remember, a good night's rest has been elusive. I've always had trouble falling asleep, likely because I'm a huge overthinker. Being glued to my computer and phone until I hit the pillow hasn't helped much either. But staying asleep has equally been a challenge. I'd wake up several times for sips of water, or to go to the bathroom.
Surgical tape. That's what I needed to know. Thank you, article. Go ahead and write that down. gets his own. Now I make gotta have 10 years of experience. Got my mic. I love my Google Keep Notes, man. That's good shit. I gotta pee. It's urination time.
But maybe more important was like a cornerstone of the scene. Like if Barry didn't like you, you were fucked. If Barry thought you were a hack, you were fucked. And they didn't tolerate hacks, they didn't tolerate thieves.
He was quality control.
Quality control.
That's
Yeah.
every circuit, I guess.
Yeah. And it's the thing that Dan Cook's talking about this too. That they were all, man, these guys were all these big guys. They were all like 6 foot plus, big burly guys who did a lot of coke and got in street fights. All those comics, they weren't like nebbishy, comics who would, talk about their insecurities. They were wild dudes.
They were like rock stars.
Yeah.
Man. So, I remember doing a show in Boston. I just remember seeing a guy who was heckling me, and the security coming down the steps.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it. I'd never seen anything like it. So casual. And I never really got a feel for that scene. I would meet these intellectuals and idiots in the same block. What the fuck is this place?
Well, there was more colleges per capita in Boston than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah. I used to go up there and play college gigs all the time. And the Boston police felt particularly menacing.
Yeah.
Those fucking high boots they wear with no horse to match. Fuck all you can stop the ass dudes. It's a weird city. But then it produced so many great, sources of income. Even people who aren't from Boston, a guy like Howard Stern, a guy like Patrice O'Neal, who came out of the hood, moved down to New York and cleaned shit up out there.
Yeah.
Interesting thing.
Patrice is a similar type of thing, right? He was like a cornerstone of comedy in New York. People talk about like people getting silly or being stupid. They would, God, I wish Patrice was here to see this.
Yeah, Patrice, he had that world-weary kind of swagger about him. Early on, me and him didn't get along, but we became friends. This guy was... And it's interesting because I don't know what would happen to a guy in this country.
He's not buckling. I'll tell you that.
I know, so I said,
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
It really would be. One can only imagine. But he was someone who was funny dude. I remember him and Kevin got to New York right at the same time. I just think Kevin was from Boston because I'd seen them together so much. And their arrival on the scene was like, both these guys, when they got on the scene, it was noticeable. It wasn't like they came in quiet. They was doing some shit.
That's another thing that every scene needs. Every scene needs a rocket.
Yeah, someone that shakes shit up.
Yeah, like, whoa. Like someone who's not stagnant. They're not complacent. They're going for it.
I gotta tell you, New York City in the 90s, some of the greatest comedy I've ever seen. It was weird too because I was one of those guys that would be in New York and then go out to LA a little earlier than everyone else. I did Montreal and then I'd go out for this and go out for that. And I started, auditing both scenes. New York was the dream. But LA, those comics were like, the work ethics were different. New Yorkers write more, in general. If you do one sponsor, right? You come up with a new joke on the third show. You got 7 cracks at it. By the end of the night,
Yeah.
even though you just started the thing, it's refined.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, LA didn't have the opportunity to do that.
That's a
But-
different world.
Right, LA people were so competitive about stage time. They was that shit's like the Karate Kid to me. These motherfuckers got killed every night. Sweep the leg. But Sensei, you got a problem with that? That's LA, no mercy.
LA in the 90s was everybody trying to get a sitcom too. That was part of the problem.
Oh, yeah, it was gold rush.
Yeah, they saw what happened with Roseanne and Jerry Seinfeld.
I don't even know if that was coming completely from the comedians. The studio system was so hungry for comedians to build these shows with.
Yeah, they would give you these crazy development deals.
Yeah, I did those. It took me like 13, 14 of them shits to be like, man, fuck this. Before you get a Chappelle show. But the good thing is I learned how television worked, basically, how it was supposed to work.
What was interesting is they basically gave you free money. People don't understand this. Like, they would give you like $500,000 or $250,000, and you would get this development deal, and they'd attach you to a bunch of writers. They put together a script, and it may or may not go. And if it didn't go, you just got a free $250,000, and you worked on the script, and maybe it went to pilot, maybe it didn't.
Yeah, but if it didn't go, you were a bad investment.
You had a couple of those.
And it could hurt. It could hurt
Yeah,
you.
it could.
You know, if they ever looked at you like you're a bum investment. The thing was with me, I was funny, but they don't quite know what to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those days, the Montreal days were weird, right? You would go out there, just go out there and showcase their talent, try to get a deal. And then, do you remember Chicken? Remember that guy?
I do remember. He got some huge deal.
Huge deal.
Mid-90s.
And it didn't.
Late
flopped,
90s.
Flopped terribly. Like, for whatever reason, they thought he was funny and nobody else did.
Yeah, the name Chicken should have tipped them off. Maybe this is a bad idea. So who should we make the check out to? Chicken?
He had a big, crazy act. It was like a lot of energy.
I never saw him work,
I saw him work. I worked with him in Montreal.
but that name is stupid. no disrespect, Chicken, but that's stupid as name.
So it all fell apart, and then he wound up hanging himself in front of the
Oh, now you gotta bring that up. I feel bad because I said I just shouted out Chicken and this nigga's dead for 5 years. Oh my God.
But that's,
He hung himself in front of the school?
Yeah.
Because of comedy?
It didn't work out. It fell apart. So, like, he thought he was on this rocket ship to fame. Like, oh my God, I got the biggest deal ever. He got, like, the biggest development deal anybody had ever heard of.
I remember.
And then they were like, they're going to make a show around him. I forget what kind of show it was going to be. And then it didn't work out. And then he slowly faded away.
I never saw a set. I remember everyone in town was talking about it. I've never seen it.
Comedians couldn't understand what was going on. He would make a lot of noise and bounce around on stage and scream and yell, and everybody was like, what is he doing?
I've seen a few comics like that. It'll be killing though. And I'll be like, I don't understand.
Well, the agents thought they had it. They're like, this is it. He's going to be huge. We got him. And, they played against each other and got this giant deal.
This is tragic.
It's weird.
Now I'm mourning the loss of Chicken. I never even met this man.
There were quite a few people that thought they were going to be giant. I remember quite a few people who got development deals, and all of a sudden you have assistants. Like, you got an assistant? People would show up with an assistant, and someone would take notes while they're on stage. They'd have their coffee ready for them, and they would drove a Mercedes. It's like, what are you doing? You got a development team. My show's going to go. It's got a guarantee.
And then they do the pilot. Right, that's why I call my company Pilot. Well, you know how many of them fucking pilots I did? It was like, fuck, this is like gonna be forever. It was hell.
That's why you call it Pilot Boy? That's it. Oh, that's hilarious.
It's a development hell.
That's
It's been
hilarious.
like over a decade of my life. Taking all that shit.
That's hilarious. Do you think you're going to do more of these podcasts? The ones that you have produced? You going to keep doing that?
I'd like to, yeah. I think, it's not like this gig. You know what I mean? It's as joyful as this. Like, I talk to people I enjoy talking to. I don't want to, tip my hand too much because I want people to, listen and see for themselves what it is. I don't like this rhyme. So, It's like telling a girl how you're gonna fuck her before you do it. I ain't gonna see what it feels like. You know, but I enjoyed it, man. Like, again, who I'm talking to. I hope you do it one day. You gotta hear it, though.
I've heard it. I've heard episodes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I would love to do it. I would definitely do it. I love what you did in Yellow Springs, too. Because you were the first guy to figure it out. You were the first guy to say, I'm going to do comedy.
We got to it early, man.
When did you start? Like, what was the first shows?
June 6th. The first night was the night I did the video that was on YouTube at 46 that George Floyd had. The very first night. 70 people, maybe. I was like, as soon as what was happening, so many people in live entertainment were furloughed that I started finding out from the production world who got furloughed. And stuff. It was like, and it's a lot of these people I'd pay them in cash because if I did it, straight down the middle, they lose their benefits. And if for any reason I had to cancel the shows, and they just stranded with no benefits and people dead. Right. So it was like in the 80s and shit. It's been right in the day. Don't do anything illegal. And the night before the first show, I was like a condemned man. I had to call into the governor's office. I'm not going to call the governor. It was a long shot. Shout out to Governor DeWine. He'll be back. He let me do it because after that massacre on Dayton, we did the thing that really helped heal the community. And because of that, he was like, okay, I'll let you do it. But the COVID protocols were so strict. And we had to learn from scratch how to do it. Nothing's going to be perfect. It's a pandemic. Everything you do is going to be risky. But we have to figure out how to do it as safe as possible within the parameters of guidelines that the government set. But we were able to work.
Did you sell booze?
No, we had to give it away.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of stuff that we built to masks and all these things. We try to make it accessible. The shows are expensive to produce. So I didn't make any money. I lose money every night. But, here we are a year later. I might be 105 shows ahead of everybody.
Right. Good work. You stayed active.
Yeah. We might have done, what? We might have done a good 30, 40 shows a year.
Yeah.
So it's that. We found a way, and the best part, like I said, is we all got to be together. So, we'll fly in from LA and New York, and we work 3 nights a week, and some people stay. We could chill because eventually we got access to testing. That was the game changer. So we test everybody.
So when you first started out, there was no testing?
No, it's just there was for the comedians. But the crowd, it's like going to the grocery store.
Right.
You come with your own risk, everyone mask up.
Everyone was outside.
Everything was outside. Everything was properly socially distanced. One of the things I learned early on is selling tickets in pairs. That was a game changer because it allowed us to get more people in. And it just made everything easy. Because imagine if there's 2 single seats, you can't put 2 strangers together.
Right.
In a time like this.
Of course.
It worked. As far as the audience was concerned, I was saying what it is. Very good.
And then eventually you started testing the crowd?
Right. As testing became more available, in the beginning, having the test was like, oh my God, I can't.
Right.
Kind of handsome. Very difficult with testing. And the tests weren't as rapid. It would take longer. So you wouldn't have time to test most people.
Yeah, you can't wait 30 minutes.
Right. And now, like when we play in Vegas, we have the capacity to test all 13,000 people and get them in a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, but
it's possible.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
Early on in the pandemic, there was a thing remember when Trump said something like to just stop testing everybody?
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience, that's a terrible, terrible idea.
It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah, like I can't believe that motherfucker was in charge at a time like that.
He was saying
That was a wild.
He was saying the
thing.
reason the numbers are so high is because we're testing more people.
Yeah. Yo, my man. Come on, let's think this through.
Well, that's just something.
Take a swig of Lysol, motherfucker, and think about what you just said. That's it. It was. Yeah, I'm from DC. I got to tell you, that shit was particularly offensive to me.
Yeah.
In DC, that's the town business. It's government. And those people that were in that building, so many of them are people from the neighborhoods. Man. It feels like you fucked my city up.
Yeah. It's just a scary precedent. When you decide you're going to break down boundaries and you're going to rush the camera and you're going to do it in a real plan. You take pictures on Pelosi's desk with your feet up and take pictures holding the flag, wearing a buffer.
It was the catalyst for it. You know, really, you want to say legally responsible, and that's fine. But he did say go take the building back. You gotta be strong.
He said go take the building back, is that what he said?
He said you gotta take our country back. He said you gotta be strong. I mean, not put words in this fellow's mouth. And I'm not an anti-Trump guy. I'm not pro, anti, like this shit is like theater to me.
I remember when he won. He got a great speech. So let's give him a chance.
Right. And you know why I said that? Because
Did someone rub their shit on the wall?
I believe a person did. It is his first time having the Capitol. He got excited.
It's kind of amazing when one person got shot.
You know, as sad as that was, it is amazing because, I mean, that could have been a terrible, terrible, terrible situation. And miraculously, you know, it could have been so much worse. It was like carnage. Jesus, man. Two shot in all context.
Right.
That whole building.
Yeah.
There were four or five different law enforcement departments. It's crazy. You know, seeing your officials flee their constituents. Well, that's crazy.
You know what's crazy is that was 5 months ago, and they're still catching people.
Oh, that's not going to stop right now.
No.
I doubt that will stop.
They're getting people off of photographs, facial recognition software, videos, people turning their friends in.
Right. This is all this shit, bro. But hopefully it's a growing thing. On the other side of this right now.
Yeah, we just need a legitimate leader.
I'll put an ad in the paper.
Someone who can inspire.
Everybody that you actually want to do that job don't want to do that job. You know, if it's this hard being a comedian, I can't even imagine. Even a guy like Obama, think about it. That shit was really hard to do being black. And it sounds trite, but it's not. That was a cultural. It was like the moon landing. Seeing somebody who's not white be president,
Especially with a name like
Barack Hussein Obama. My God, man, we did that. You know, I'm fond of what that meant culturally. You could argue about policy, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But you know, Ohio, we voted for Trump twice. Voted for Obama twice too. It was an interesting swing state. And normally we pick right. Like whether we pick the president, this last go around being the exception, maybe the only exception. You know, yeah, fuck politics, man.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's factless. I'm telling you, I'm on my kindness conspiracy. As long as I'm kind to people, like if we live by the ethic of kindness, we false and trust amongst each other, it will matter less what corporations and politicians say. We really trust our societies and police.
Yeah.
But if you politicize these things, it's going to become increasingly difficult to come to understand.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's so difficult when people get attached to whatever political party they're in. It's very difficult for them to disagree with that party. It's so easy for them to go along with it. And then it's so easy for them to hate the people that are opposed to it, the people that are on the other part. It's such a binary thing. It's so dumb.
It's also a cold thing to do in front of all of us. I don't think people feel that way.
No, most people don't. But when we're talking in groups, that's when it gets weird.
Right.
We're talking in tribes.
Yeah, it's getting tribal. Well, you know what's funny? I don't even really know what you politically believe or don't believe. Gives a fuck. I get along with everyone. You're funny. You're a nice dude. We laugh about shit. We learn shit from each other. You're from Boston. I'm from DC. Two very different types of places and types of cultures. This culture of comedy, this common denominator, it makes me feel like we're of the same tribe. For sure. And there's trans people in my tribe, and there's white, black, and Asian, and all kinds of people, and all of them are committed to this concept of levity, and we all get there different and interesting and unique ways. And what's wrong with things? It works. And we say terrible shit to each other all the fucking time. Everyone's fine.
But it's fun. We look forward to it. But it is a tribe. It's a different kind of tribe.
Normally I get up in the morning and I dread getting on a plane if I have to go do a work man. I wiped already. I don't do it.
No.
This buffalo
Whiskey?
I can't see you and not celebrate. Now, obviously, is this some cheap shit, Joe?
What's the shit?
Kentucky straight slavery. They're wildly consistent. Let's hang out in Hollywood sometimes. He got some rooms, baby, stole bikes and stuff.
Really?
Because I trust him. Yeah, he's just a fucking cool dude. He's a funny guy. He's a cool dude.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I brought him up because he came to my shack. That's where I do my shows. It's like my little hangout, my little clubhouse around the corner. Chris and I were talking about, hey, this is interesting. Look at the crowd. How many people do you want to see out there? If you're like, come on. Chris said, like 6,000. I forget sometimes. You got big. Me, that's like a sweet spot. That's why I love playing the punchline, you know. But I don't even need that many. Belly room, one of my favorite rooms on earth is the belly room comedy store.
Yep.
That's like 70 seats soaking wet, right?
Yep.
I would make this club 120. This club is not for people who are trying to count the gate. This club is for people who really get into some shit, like try some shit out.
Yeah.
It's like when the alternative scene in the 90s, for people at home, Joe, that's it. In the 90s, it was an alternative, what they call an alternative comedy scene. This was Patton Oswalt, Janine Garofalo, Dave Cross, Bob Odenkirk, this type of people. And it became real popular. It became like a scene. And I would check it out. Now, traditional club comics hated that scene. They resented it because the things that was going on there, these jokes weren't structured. It was like a lab almost. People would go there and try shit out. What was interesting about it to me wasn't what the comedians were trying, as much as it was the way the crowds were listening. It was one of these setups. If you went there and just did your act, no matter how funny your act is, that's like. But the beauty is in the attempt. Just made a profound impression on me that was possible. That you could make a crowd into it. Because comedians are addicted to the process of refinement. A guy like Seinfeld, he would never do a podcast because it's such a spontaneous, off-the-cuff endeavor. And his skill as a comedian, one of his Jerry Seinfeld, is like a well-refined comedian. He take an abstraction and make it a refined piece. This scene didn't have any of that.
Seinfeld does that, but then he also does that comedians getting getting coffee show.
Yeah.
Where he's like a podcast. He's loose.
I did that show. I enjoyed it, actually. I did it in D.C.
What kind of car you got?
A French piece of shit. It like broke down. I think they cut
Did
that
it?
out.
Yeah.
It was a good looking car, but it was a piece of shit.
Well, he's mostly the Porsches. Most of his things Porsches. If he's driving those other cars, it's really more for show. I think.
But it reminds me, that show reminds me of you a little bit in the sense that it's about his passions.
Yeah.
He loves cars, loves comedians, loves comedy.
Yeah.
And apparently he likes cars.
Did Jay Leno, you ever done Jay Leno's Garage?
No.
I've done that. He is so much better at that show than, at least the way, not that he was bad at hosting the Tonight Show, but he's himself. He really is himself. Like, he doesn't have to dress up. He wears like the same shit every day, like a jean shirt, jean pants. He doesn't give a fuck what he looks like. He's got no hair and makeup on the set. He just wants to talk about cars. The guy's got like hundreds of cars. He's got warehouses filled with cars. Full-time employees all over the place that work on it. All these people. He's got fabricators, people that make sheet metal, like fix fenders and shit, all kinds of stuff. The fucking man loves cars. I brought my 1965 Corvette in. He and I just geeking out over lines. And Steve Stroke, the guy who built my car, he came with me, and we talked about all the various aspects of the car, all the improvements, all the different things that he'd done to it. See Jay Leno going over it. He knows the details of the 1965. The original motor. Yeah. He starts talking about all the different things. Then he drove it. He's the only one other than me that's ever driven that car.
Really?
Yeah, he takes it home. We go out to the hills, up to Los Angeles Crest Forest.
Man, he took me out one night. He had a hot one. That Porsche he used to drive.
Oh, yeah, I still got that.
That was a hot.
That was fun. That night was wild.
and you started doing the motherfucker. You know, we was up in them Hollywood Hills. You started doing them James Dean turns. I got scared. I got scared. I said, what are you doing?
That car's glued to the ground.
Oh, I know. That's what you were demonstrating.
Yeah.
You were whipping that shit. Oh, that was the night we went to that Naomi Campbell book release party.
Yeah.
That shit was fun.
It was wild.
It wasn't that weird.
It was weird to me.
Well, because you weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
You were just at the comedy club I ran into.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, let's go to this party, jump up the party.
We were so high, too. I was like, okay, let's go.
It was fun.
It was really fun, but it was like, I thought it was just going to be a regular night at the store. Next thing you know, we're in an elevator that's going up the side of the hill.
Oh, that mountain, yeah, that was crazy.
Weird.
It's a
And
nice
there's
house.
Giant naked picture of Naomi Campbell on the side of the building. Remember that?
No, of course I do. Of course I do. It's like 40-foot tall nude.
It was crazy, and then you get in there, and there's all these famous people. This is one of my favorite parts of the night. We're sitting around, you and I are talking, man, I would not want to be famous like these people. And I looked at you and go, dude, you're the most famous person here.
That's hilarious.
And you're like,
no, it was you, Joe.
And you're like, no, am I? I go, you were the most famous person in this fucking room.
I don't have, I could forget about it.
Yeah, you can forget about it. You know how to let it go. It was Lenny Kravitz was there, Demi Moore. There was all these famous people. It was wild. It's like, oh, there's that guy.
Naomi Campbell.
According to Wikipedia, Naomi Elaine Campbell is a British model, actress and businesswoman.
Thanks.
Again, I'm always trying to have, like, Lenny Kravitz is a cool motherfucker. Very cool. I really think. First time I met him, Sherman Hemsley used to play George Jefferson.
Yeah.
Introduced me to him. I did a movie with him. It was me, Norm MacDonald, Sherman Hemsley was there. And I remember I didn't know him well, but he was awestruck with Jefferson's fan. Any Norman Lear show was what I was watching. And he invited me to come to his concert. And I didn't realize at the time that Lenny Kravitz's mother was on Jefferson. Man, I smoked a joint with George Jefferson. Lenny Kravitz show. Wow. Could have been nice.
Yeah, he was very normal. Doesn't he? He lives on a giant ranch in Brazil.
He has a giant ranch in
He doesn't
Brazil.
live there. He just goes there occasionally.
He's one of those. He got a beautiful house in Paris. I've never been, but I've heard stories. He got spread in the Bahamas where his family is from.
Oh wow.
And then he got the Brazilian jump off. So he does it big. And Lenny is a style guy. Like, everything he does is just fly. Prince was like that. It's kind of fly.
They did a tour of Lenny's house. It's a video. He's going over all the art pieces and who designed this chair and who made all these things and showing this video. This place in Brazil. It's beautiful, man.
He started making furniture, designing furniture, stuff like that. Now, it's funny. I don't have really. Kanye is like this. Kanye West is a design genius. Like, it's not a trick. People call Kanye genius all the time. It's just not just a label that's slapping on it. If you ever see him in a studio session, this motherfucker look like Captain Kirk. Running the bridge like he knows he's nice with. I've been very lucky to get to see people who are great at things up close, even being on this podcast. Like, you didn't make podcast stuff, but you kind of make podcast stuff. I know it's a fucking strange neighborhood in life. It's one of the joys of my life. To know these people, knowing and seeing them be human. We struggle through these things. We bellyache about decisions. But everyone, none of these people that I know are contest winners. They all work very hard.
Yeah.
They're great at what they do. Everyone is gifted. These people spend time refining their gift and getting rejection and taking all those shots that you take in life, and they made something of it. I can't begrudge them. And I always hope that none of us right. I hope we all survive.
For long-term swings, at least.
Not even opposed to the ideas behind, some of these cancellations. I get it.
I get
do good things.
stopping harassment. Stopping all
racism, harassment, this ism, that ism, this phobia, that phobia. I get it. Let's fight it.
And the inclination, all of it, is to make the world a better place. That's the inclination. It gets abused and misused sometimes by the wrong people and bad actors, but at the end of the day, what they're trying to do, at least what they think they're trying to do, is eliminate bad aspects of our culture and our society.
Right.
So they're trying to do.
Right, because society doesn't correct itself. And in that sense, I appreciate it. Like, my kids make me very hopeful for the future. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say, I wouldn't want good people I know. I don't want to bring kids into this world. At my age, no kids. Don't do that shit. If you think you're a good person, please have a kid. Put all your good ideas in that kid so that the world will be better.
I quote you all the time because it's something you said to me in the parking lot of the comedy store. You said, my children didn't just increase the amount of love in my life, they increased my capacity for love. And that's very true.
I said they say, I wasn't dire stress, but man, I wouldn't be fractional. I think what I am, I have some of the courage that I was able to muster. I'm not scared. I'll be scared, but I just do shit.
Everybody who knows me says there's like me pre-children, post-children. I'm a different person. I'm so much nicer.
I always liked you, John. I never saw you as a mean guy. You were always kind.
realized I can look at the top 10 holdings of a mutual fund and tell whether the price is going to go up or down for the day, so that's kind of neat. I don't blame you, you should run it through that Excel formula and see what you come up with. Yeah, but like you said, crypto is scary. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will always be number one and number two, period.